Okay, so today we're going to dive into a story that I think a lot of people have been talking about in the travel world, especially if you're someone who likes to stay connected on the go.
Definitely a story that's been making the rounds, and for good reason.
Yeah, it really raises some questions about the whole airport security situation.
Hmm.
That balance between keeping everyone safe and not totally overstepping boundaries.
Exactly. And this one gets pretty personal too, which always makes it hit harder when you're hearing about these kinds of things.
Absolutely. So let's paint the picture here. It's April 8th, 2025, and we've got Shruti Chaturvedi. She's an Indian entrepreneur, and she's just come back from this amazing trip to Alaska, chasing the northern lights.
Wow, what an experience.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a bucket list item, right?
Yes.
She's at Anchorage Airport feeling that post-trip bliss, maybe a little tired from the journey, but full of those incredible
I
memories.
can practically see the photos already.
Oh, totally. And she's got her bag ready to go. And like so many of us these days, she's carrying a power bank in her hand luggage, just to keep her phone and everything charged up.
Standard travel gear these days.
Right. Completely normal. But here's where things take a turn for Shruti. This is where that normal airport experience spirals into what she's called an 8-hour American nightmare.
8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a little delay or a missed connection. This is full-on detention, being frisked, having all of her belongings completely searched, and get this, being denied access to a restroom, all because of that power bank deemed suspicious.
That's a long time to be held up over a power bank.
It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
So we've been digging into Shruti's firsthand account of what happened, and we're going to try to make sense of it all, what went down and what it might mean for the rest of us who travel with these things. Because, let's be honest, who doesn't have a power bank these days?
Pretty essential for a lot of us, especially when you're on a trip like that. You don't want your phone dying when you're trying to capture the northern lights.
Exactly. So let's rewind a bit right to the beginning of this whole ordeal. Shruti's going through security, and for some reason, they zero in on her handbag, specifically on that power bank inside.
So the power bank becomes public enemy number one.
Yeah, it's interesting because lithium batteries have been a growing concern for airlines and safety regulators, and there's data from the FAA to back that up.
Right. There have been those high-profile incidents in recent years.
Yeah, the FAA data shows a pretty significant jump in cases of these batteries overheating. We're talking about going from like one incident a week in 2018 to almost three every 2 weeks in 2024.
That's a pretty steep increase.
It is. And then there's that Air Busan plane fire in South Korea back in January this year. A power bank was suspected to be the culprit there. So you can see how airport security might be extra cautious.
Absolutely. You can't be too careful when it comes to potential fire hazards on a plane.
No, for sure.
Sure.
Safety has to be the top priority. But here's where Shruti's story takes a turn that's hard to comprehend. She was taken in by the police and even the FBI for questioning.
Wait, really? The FBI?
The FBI, and this went on for 8 hours. 8 hours of interrogation with what she described as ridiculous questions like, did you build this power bank yourself?
Wow, that seems extreme.
Right? I mean, who builds their own power banks? And it just points to this level of suspicion
Yeah.
that seems completely out of proportion to the situation.
Yeah, it's like they thought she was some kind of rogue tech whiz constructing a potentially dangerous device.
It's bizarre, and it gets worse. She talks about being physically frisked by a male officer on camera, which is a whole other can of worms, and then she was apparently stripped of her warmer clothing and left in a cold room, completely isolated, no phone, no wallet, no way to contact anyone.
That's just dehumanizing.
It is, and the worst part, and maybe the most shocking part, is that she was denied access to a restroom for that entire 8-hour ordeal.
That's just inhumane. You can't deny someone a basic need like that.
I know it goes so far beyond simple inconvenience. It's a complete disregard for her well-being as a person.
Absolutely. It really makes you question the judgment and the training of the authorities involved.
And of course, she missed her connecting flight, as you can imagine. And when she was finally released, they kept her checked luggage and gave her what she described as a flimsy duffel bag instead.
So they added insult to injury after all that?
It's like they just wanted to get rid of her at that point.
Hmm.
And she did end up leaving the United States, but not before sharing her experience in a very public way.
Right, that post on X where she laid it all out.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah.
She didn't hold back. She detailed the entire 8 hours, the detention, the questioning, the frisking, the denial of basic necessities, and then she ended it with this very pointed question. And we all know why.
That speaks volumes.
It does. It suggests that there was something more going on here than just a power bank setting off some alarm bells.
It definitely raises the question of whether factors like racial profiling or a more general increase in scrutiny for certain travelers entering the U.S. might have been at play.
And that's the question that's been lingering in a lot of people's minds ever since her story went viral. Was this an overreaction to legitimate safety concerns about lithium batteries, or was there something else, something unspoken influencing the way she was treated?
It's hard to say for sure without hearing from the authorities involved, but it's a question that needs to be asked.
It does, and I think Shruti's experience speaks to a larger issue here, that feeling of powerlessness that a lot of people experience when they're going through airport security.
Right, you're at the mercy of these systems and procedures, and sometimes it feels like common sense and basic human decency get lost in the process.
Exactly, and that's the unsettling feeling that Shruti's story leaves us with, that even the most ordinary things can suddenly become objects of suspicion, and you can find yourself caught in a system that doesn't seem to care about your well-being.
It's a reminder that we need to keep having conversations about the balance between security and basic human rights,
Absolutely, because no one should have to go through what Shruti went through.
especially over a power bank.
All right, I mean, think about it. How many of us travel with those things without a second thought?
Pretty much everyone I know.
It's a wake-up call to be aware of what's happening and to speak out when something isn't right.
And to remember that even in the name of security, we can't afford to lose sight of our humanity.
Well said, and that's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive, digging deeper into these stories that matter and hopefully sparking some important conversations along the way. So stay tuned, we've got more deep dives coming your way.
Always looking forward to uncovering the next layer.
Me too. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Until next time.
Take care.